Hey, it's your buddy Benjy from the podcast no one watches called Benjy Talks Pinball. Coming at you on Thursday. What is this? This is June 25th, 2026. Try to give you just a real brief synopsis of what's going on in pinball this week. Ooh, I look very oily, and I don't think I should. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, I'm driving while we do this, well, as such as maybe when you have full self-driving, but just letting you know, I'm not being a distracted driver. I have the computer driving for me. All right, in the news right now, of course, the number one thing this week is Sonic Pinball by Jersey Jack Pinball, that just released their real trailer with gameplay yesterday. Everyone's still clamoring to be able to actually show some gameplay now that I guess the embargo has been lifted in some point. And for those of you who don't know, there's when you are a reporter or a podcaster and all that, and you get to see stuff before everybody else does, whether it's pinball or whether it's cars and electronics and all that, they have what's called an embargo, which means that you can't do anything until their mother may I period is up. So they've got everything taken care of, take care of any glitches. They're prepared for the release at that point, and then all of a sudden everybody magically has all of their stuff at the same time. So one doesn't necessarily get to scoop the others. The scooping is if you have the ability to go to these special previews and all of that, where everybody else, someone normal like me or you doesn't get to go. And so we're waiting to see all of this content that's been created that then gets monetized and commoditized. And remember, you and I are the product. We're not the consumers, we're the actual product. Anyway, that's a big story. Anyway, Sonic JJP looks actually to be a pretty cool game, and looks like they'll be sort of ramping down Harry Potter a skosh. They've made a lot of money on Harry Potter. I'm sure they've made back their licensing fee several times over. And they're still going to continue Harry Potter production, but then they're going in to the Sonic production now imminently. And so they're taking all of their orders now for the different editions. There's 3 different editions, as you would suspect, starting at 10 grand and going up to 15. So pretty much mirroring Harry Potter. I don't really have a deep attraction to that theme because I'm a 1970s guy, not a 1980s or 1990s guy. So I understand it. I've played Sonic as an adult, not as a child. And I definitely see the allure. This will be going more for the games, and I guess there's cartoons involved as well, rather than for the Sonic movies that were with the live action and things like that. So bottom line, it does look to be fairly sophisticated. They're throwing a lot of all of the bells and whistles that JJP is known for in the new title. So expect to see loops and all kinds of hurry-ups and LEDs everywhere, and lots of good call-outs. I believe they're using the actual actors from whatever Sonic properties there are out there. They're using the license the way it should be, and they're not sort of tiptoeing the way that Stern seemed to have tiptoed with Pokemon to its own peril. How the code ends up being, that is yet to be seen. So that's Sonic. Right before Sonic was Transformers, and that was the Stern property that's new. And Transformers, the big brouhaha, of course, was over the Bash toy that is Optimus Prime. Now, once again, I'm a 70s kid. We didn't have any of this stuff. We were lucky enough to have Star Wars, much less Transformers and all the other things, even from the old original cartoon shows, which this is based off of one of the original Prime cartoon shows or something like that. Transformers 1, something like I don't know this stuff. But the bottom line is that they do try to follow all of the different things that were, I guess, canon to the cartoon series. The disappointment was mainly not in the gameplay of Transformers, and it is now reaching arcades. My local arcade, not local, but an hour away, a place called Flippers, that is a very popular place and the largest accumulation of pinball machines within 2 hours of me. They just got their Transformers yesterday, so shout out to Flippers and to David down there. Let me know when it's set up. I want to come play. But that's as real pinball stuff goes. That's the current state of the art. Pokemon, supposedly, or Pokémon, is evolving a little bit. I played it last night at Pixels in Norfolk, Virginia, where we had our bi-weekly pinball tournament for the Tidewater Pinball League. You can find us on Facebook, and feel free to join if you're in the area. And it played okay. I don't think it's had the code update. I think the last time that anyone serviced it was probably back in April, and I believe there's been a code update since then. Everyone's still bitching about Pokemon and code updates and saying that it was set sort of half-baked and, you know, with like a 0.7 code versus a 1.0 code kind of thing there. So, you know, listen, Harry Potter didn't even ship really code complete, so to speak. So Harry Potter, of course, came off a lot better as a new machine last year, and with a lot fewer complaints about its code than something like Pokemon. But I think all of these machines, to a certain extent, if they're popular, they evolve. The companies have been pretty good in investing in the code to try to keep them current and to update them even after units. In some cases, even after the units are no longer in production. So they're still continuing to evolve the code. It'd be nice to see them open it up as an open source kind of thing to allow for third parties to go in for older machines that are still a modern machine to be able to update codes. I don't know that that's really been a thing. If it is, someone tell me, because I don't think as a software developer, which I'm not, but if I was, I don't think that I could go in and actually update the code to Foo Fighters or something like that that's no longer in production and bring new elements to it. Now, where you do see the updates, the flip side and my main interest, even though I do have multiple real pinball machines, including multimorphic that I haven't talked about yet, is with the virtual pinball machines. And that's because that code really gets updated in real time. And there's a lot of people that go in, some older tables, because remember, we're not talking about machines at this point, we're talking about tables that you can play on any one of a variety of different ways to play, whether it be with your Nintendo Switch using Pinball FX, whether you're going to be doing it through Steam, whether you're doing it as a VPX table that's an original table that someone created and then someone else went in and changed the lighting, changed the graphics, changed the physics of it, upgraded it to fuzzy physics, things like that. These are all different things that can happen with the virtual pinball tables, and it's all open code. It's all open source. So the ability to actually be able to go in and improve upon things is absolutely real time compared to the months, sometimes years, that you have to wait for there to be changes in an existing table, if at all. So, you know, where you deal with buying add-on accessories for real pinball tables and mods and things like that, it's a matter of just adding some new code, adding a new subroutine that goes in there. Stuff I don't understand because I'm not smart enough. But I'm telling you, it is possible to take, for instance, Foo Fighters as a VPX table and have a new update that changes the way it plays, improves upon the physics and the way that you see the ball, maybe makes it slightly more effective in the code. Usually there's more bloat than anything else. Changes the lighting, so someone was bitching, I know people were bitching months ago about the lighting in AC/DC because there was a lot of blooming effect going on because someone didn't, I guess, at one point messed with the code. So they went back in and actually changed it and made it so that you could see things more clearly and didn't have to worry about the blooming lights. By the same token, I wish that people would go in and find a way on the real physical Stranger Things. I played Stranger Things last night. Couldn't see the damn table half the time because Stranger Things, straight out of the gate, doesn't really have enough lighting. And especially if you put it in an area that has more glare than it has actual lighting, it can really suck. I was told that somebody actually brought in a magnetized side light they were able to put onto the table and actually use these side lights to light it up a little better. That was a great idea. I wish I'd thought of it. I might think of it next time I go. I pay a lot of money to go to a pinball league thing because if my wife's in class like she was last night, I'm paying for a babysitter. So 4 hours of pinball league is 60 or 70 bucks just for babysitting, so I can go lose at pinball, which I do really, really well. I always lose. All right, so that's a couple of updates there. What else is there in the news? Let's see. Beetlejuice is still sold out. They still don't have any around here. Closest Beetlejuice, I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia. The closest Beetlejuice is probably Washington, D.C. And so I don't know when I'm going to get to play Beetlejuice to tell you whether it's any good or not. If you've played Beetlejuice and you like it or you don't like it, say something in the comments and let us know how it plays, because you're fortunate, because with only 999 of them being produced and only about a third of them have actually made it out to the public so far before Spooky starts their next thing. I'm sure they'll have something new to preview in one of the big shows, probably Chicago, in the fall. I don't know. With these limited runs, I think someone played a Winchester the other day and they were just absolutely wowed a bit. But when you have total worldwide distribution of 525 units like Winchester, it's like, will I ever get to see it? And so that's where virtual really comes in, by the way, because once something's out of production and they're not going to make any more money selling more units, it's sort of like, okay, gloves are off for all of the developers out there to do the VPX version. I know there's someone who's already got a VPX version of Beetlejuice, and so I'm not quite sure what he's waiting for to release it, because they're all sold. So I don't know, but he doesn't want to release it now, and it may be just because he doesn't want to get sued, and maybe because he doesn't feel appreciated. I don't know, because these guys are all doing it for free. You know it's not free? Real pinball, you still got to pay for every game unless you buy it and take it home, and then you're paying for every game still. Never forget, by the way, that when you buy a home use game, you really are still paying for every game. God forbid you have a loan on it, but on top of that, every time someone, pushes a new game and plays a new game, that decreases ever so slightly the value of your pinball machine, with some rare exceptions. If you've got a, JJP Pirates of the Caribbean limited edition, good on you. Most of us don't have that. Most of us will never get to play it. So anyway, that's my story for this week. As I said, it's the 25th of June. Let's see if I do this again next week, and I'll bring you up on whatever the news is for this coming up week. And I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff. If you got something that you want me to cover or want me to opine on, tell me in the comments or shoot me a DM, and I'll see if I can do a little snippet on it that's shorter than the 13 minutes of this show.